Hello, hello. Sorry for all the zooming in and out. I was trying to get a good, I swear, every time I get on Facebook, it is zoomed in a different place. And I was trying to get a good angle on my screen there. I think we have it zoomed out enough that we should be able to see everything pretty well today. I may have to zoom back in a little bit at some point, but we'll see. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This big giant machine here sitting, and it's not really giant, but it looks like it on screen. This machine sitting here is taking up all the room, so I was trying to find a way to start this video in a that wouldn't look weird, but it does. It just looks weird. It's okay. We'll live. You guys forgive me, right? All right. So, welcome everybody. If you're new, please let us know. Say hi. Say, hey, I'm new. We would love to welcome you here. We are a fun, welcoming group. My name is Jeri Mobley, also known as Shameless Stamper. You can find me at www.shamelessstamper.com. You can also find me here on Facebook at Shameless Stamper, or on YouTube. You can also search for me that way, Shameless Stamper, or my name, Jeri Mobley. You can find me that way too. And if you are here watching this live with me on Facebook, there's a little live red button up here that will tell you you're watching live. Otherwise, you're watching this as a replay here on Facebook or on YouTube. So either way, thank you so much for joining us. This should be a fun video. I get questions all the time. What about this? What about that? What about this? How do I use this? How do I use that? And I decided to start a new series called How to Use. And we started it last month with the actually, I guess it was April, with the Pick Your Tool. And so I went through all of the Pick Your Tool stuff, the attachments, what they're for, all the things. If you missed that video, go check it out on either Facebook or YouTube. You'll love it. So we did that. This month we are doing the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, otherwise affectionately known as the Boss, in my opinion. All that big old long name, you know. So I call it my Boss. We also have a mini, which you of course can use, and I'm not going to show them both today because honestly they're basically the same thing. It's just the mini only takes smaller dies. Everything else I'm going to show you, it works with both. I do have both. It's just, I mean, I guess I can put it on screen. But like this is, and my mini is really dusty because I hardly ever use it, so I have to dust it to show it to you. It's sitting over here. I honestly prefer to just use the mini for like travel stuff, because it's a lot smaller. So it's much smaller and only will take smaller dies. But basically everything else concept-wise is the same. So we're just going to use the big guy today to talk about everything, but you can see we have a smaller one as well. Okay, so hello everybody, welcome. Hey Trudy, Kathy, Maria, Kimmy, Flo, Katie, Jolene, Diane, and Jill. Welcome all of you. So good to see you. If you guys are new and you're on today and you haven't said, hey, I'm new, please let us know you're new. We'd love to welcome you. If you haven't said hi yet, please say hi. Also, always remember to like and love the video, share it with your friends. All these things are great, not only for my business, but also for you and your friends, because you get to learn things, right? So that's great. Okay, so, and hopefully provide you with some inspiration for your crafting. Hey, Pauline. So anyway, we're going to talk all about our cut and emboss machines. Now, I know you guys have questions because lots of people do. If you can keep them till the end, I'm going to have some question and answer time. So if I don't cover whatever question you have during the video, because I have like a little, layout of what I'm going to do. If I don't cover it during the video, then please ask me questions at the end, because I'm sure I've forgotten something, right? Like I can't remember everything. So please help me out in that way. If you have a question, write it down, add it at the end when we do the question and answer stuff, okay? Also, I will do announcements, and as always, my drawing for free product at the end, so be sure to be commenting throughout the video so you can be in the drawing. Even if you're watching this on replay, I do a replay drawing also a week later, so please participate in those drawings. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to move this little sign out of the way. And this is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, okay? So I'm going to take out the plates real quick, and you can see here that it folds up just like the mini. You saw a minute ago, make a loud noise. I'm going to try to make it really soft. Sometimes it pops when you close it like that. I'm trying to make it quiet. So this is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine all folded up, and I want to say it weighs like around 7 or 8 pounds. It's not super heavy. I do love this machine over any other machine on the market, and I'm not just saying that because we sell it. I honestly have that opinion because we used to sell the Big Shot and I didn't like it so much. I mean, it was okay. It was definitely one of the better ones. But I like this way better. So I'm just saying that. That's my honest opinion. Take it or leave it. Okay. And I will tell you one of the biggest reasons why I think I like this machine better is the smoothness of this, of the gear, the way that the, what's the term? The two things that smush the plates together in there, the way all this moves is much smoother. It is way easier on my carpal tunnel than any other machine I have messed with. Yes, you can buy electric machines. They are expensive. They wear stuff out very quickly because they almost always are too high pressured, in my opinion. I've had those too. I keep coming back to this one, guys. I'm just saying, that's my personal opinion. But I know other people prefer other machines, and that's fine. Do what works for you. Basically, a lot of the stuff I'm going to go over today will work for this machine or any other hand cranked machine in general. So there's that. So if you don't have this specific machine, it will probably still work as far as like if you have a Big Shot, this is basically the same ideas, right? Okay, so but I am specifically using our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this video. Okay, typing one-handed here, broke your wrist, Kathy. Oh no, how on earth did you do that? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna pray for you that you heal fast. But, you know, it's a 6-week-long process, right? Oh, I hope you don't have a whole lot of pain and heal fast. I'm going to pray for that, okay? So sorry. Hey, Denise. Okay, so let's get started on this. So first of all, I'm going to go through the parts. So we have the main body of the machine. When you get your machine, if you purchase this one, it's going to come with all of the things that you're going to see here, okay? So you get your machine. You do have to attach your handle, and that's easy peasy. You just attach it and add this little rubber stopper here to keep the screw from coming out and losing it, okay? So that's really great. Sometimes that screw, after a really long time, will work loose, and this will pop off. You just pull this back out, grab the screw, put it back in, put your little stopper back in, and you're good to go. I have had this since this machine came out, which has been, gosh, it's been a long time, and I just had to do that for the first time the other day. So it took a really, really long time for that to happen for me. Okay, so you have the main base of the machine. Let me move this over here for a second. Okay, then you have all of your plates. Okay, these all come, and they're numbered. Let me put them where you can see the numbering. Okay, so you have your 4, your 3s, your 2, and your 1. Okay, so these are the plates that come with the machine. The small one has the same plates, okay? Well, they're a little bit different, but the big one is the one we're working on today. The small one is just simpler. On your base, this is what they call the base plate, which is number 1. On your number 1 plate, it gives you all of your sandwich directions. And people are like, sandwich? Yeah, it's what we call it. It's a sandwich. So I'm going to talk about sandwiches in a little bit, but I just want to tell you, this is the number 1 plate. This is your base plate. You always have to use this plate. The next thing is the number 2 plate. Now, this is what a lot of people refer to as the, oh gosh, I've forgotten the term that they used to use with Big Shot. So you can actually use the old-fashioned dies that come with like the sponge kind of stuff around them, and you leave this out. Adapter plate, that's what people call it, an adapter plate. And you leave this out if you're doing that. But most people don't use those anymore. They just use the thin dies like, hold on, let me grab one, like this anymore. You know, the thin dies that you can just put on a magnet sheet. And so for the most part, people don't ever need to not use this. So almost always this is a part of it. Not always, but almost always, okay? Then you also have your threes, and I have two threes. I have a bottom three and an upper three. They're the same plate, you guys, but I call this my bottom plate and this my upper plate. Do you see a difference? This one is where my cutting edge always goes. So it's my bottom plate. And this one is my top plate, which is where the cutting edge never goes. And so I have two plates like that. And then we have this number 4 plate, which is used for some embossing folders. We're going to get to the sandwiches here in a second. So those are the plates. All right. All right. And this is not a cutting plate, by the way. Okay. This is for embossing only. Okay. So now let's talk about the sandwiches. So our first thing is we have what we call thin folders. All right, embossing folders, really thin folders. You can usually tell because it's honestly the same thickness as your number 2 plate. So guess what we're gonna leave out of the sandwich? The number 2 plate. This is the only time you're not gonna use your number 2 plate with your clear cutting plates. So I'm gonna leave my bottom plate. I'm gonna take my thin folder, and I'm going to put my paper in wherever I'm going to put it. I'm going to add this plate, and then I'm going to run that through. Okay, so that's the first one. We're going to go back over this in just a second, so don't get confused. We'll be right back to that. Okay, the second thing is your normal. This is a thick, sometimes you'll see them, they'll say 3D, but they're the thicker plate. Okay, and for the thicker plate, we're going to get rid of the 2 clear plates. We're going to bring back in our adapter plate. Actually, do we bring that one back in? Now I'm trying to remember. Sometimes I have to think about it. So this one actually has just the base plate. So it's just the base plate, sorry. You're gonna get rid of all your plates except the base plate. I'm awake, I swear. And y'all ever have those moments? You put your folder with the paper in it, and you put your number 4 on top, and you run that through. Okay, so that's the thick one. This also goes for any of our hybrid folders if you're going to add a die with it, which we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. Okay, so those are the options for your folders. And then anytime you run a die through only, not with a folder, but on a die only, you're going to put your 2 back on. You're going to put your 3 on, you're going to put your paper down, you're going to put your die on top, and then you're going to put your 3 down, and you're done. So those are the 3 main sandwiches, okay, that you guys need to remember. And they are all right here. So the one I just referred to is the die cutting plate, and it does say 2 3s. Just remember, you should always have a top and a bottom plate. And I'll talk more about that in a minute as well. Then you have your thin embossing folders or standard embossing folders. It depends on the company you buy it from. That just remove number 2 and use your 2 3 plates with the folder in between. And then finally you have your thick or 3D embossing folders that you put your folder with your paper and just the number 4. Okay, so we talked about that twice now, and then I'm going to do it one more time where I'm actually going to show you me doing it. Okay. So let's do that, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. All right, so here's our boss. I'll bring him back in. We're going to open him up just like that. I do love that this collapses. It takes up less room in your craft room if you like that. Though I have to say I often store mine with everything intact, and I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. All right, so our first thing we're going to do is our thin or standard folder, okay? So I'm going to take out my number 2, and set it aside. I'm going to put my bottom number 3. Let me get this straight in here. I'm going to put my paper in here straight. You guys might notice there's this little line on the bottom of our folders, as well as let's see, do I want to do it this way or this way? Yeah, I think I'll do it this way. As well as I know that Sizzix does this with their folders, I'm pretty sure too still. And so there's a little line, and that helps you just line up your paper if you want to. If you want to do it cockeyed, you can do that too. That looks really cool. So either way is fine. Hey Jeffrey, how are you? Thank you for sharing the video, guys. Those of you that shared it, I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Marcia. Okay, so I'm going to run this through real quick. I'm just holding it so it doesn't move too much. And I have my embossed folder. Ta-da! Okay, so there is, for instance, a thin or standard sized embossing folder. Embossing folders are awesome, you guys. They have an amazing price point. They're super inexpensive for the bang for your buck, if you will. So most folders, like from us, are going to be like $8 to $10, somewhere in that range, depends on the size of the folder. And you're going to get texture that you get to add over and over and over and over and over again to everything you make, which is just awesome. So yeah, Texas is stupid hot, Marcia says. Yeah, it's humid here too, and it's like 87. So anyway, so that is the Damask Designs, which is one of our newer folders, and super cute. Okay, the next one, I'm going to get rid of all 3 of my top plates. So number 2 and the 2 3s, I'm going to get rid of those. I'm going to bring in my 4. This is for a thick folder. So this is a 3D folder. This is our eyelet one, and so I'm just gonna pop this in here. We do have some folders that are bigger, and that's fine. They still fit in here because they're all 6 inches across, and that works. And so we're gonna just pop this on here. I'm gonna put on the number 4 plate, and then I'll run this through. And that will give me a great design for my eyelet. Isn't that pretty? All right, I'm going to talk real quickly about one other thing you might want to do. So something you can do with papers, especially with your 3D folders, and this is the time to mention it, is you can buy one of our little, our misters, our little spritzer sets. I think there's 3 in a pack of these. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that these are in a pack of 3. Anyway, I have one that has water and one that has alcohol that I use for all different kinds of techniques. And the water you can also use to spritz your paper before you run it through with a 3D folder, and it will help the design a little bit more because some 3D folders, not all, but some of them are very deep. They have extremely deep designs, and so it can help the paper to actually emboss a little bit smoother. I honestly don't ever do it. It is a technique I'm aware of and can be done, but I don't ever actually do it. So it's up to you whether or not you choose to do that. The water weakens the paper a little bit and helps with the embossing process. So play around with it. If you ever have a folder that you feel like got super deep designs and maybe needs a little help, give it a try and see what you think. But that is just an option for you. Okay, so that is our 3D or thicker folders. Okay, then we're going to do, I'm going to show you 2. This is another thicker folder. This is a 3D folder. This is our beautiful butterflies, but this is a hybrid. So I like to show people this because not everybody is aware of how to use it. So a hybrid comes with dies also, so they come together. And so the dies, while you can use the dies separately, you can also use one or more of them with the folder, depending on the set. So for this one, it's this die right here that works with the folder. So I'm going to open this up, and you can see, let me move this over just a little bit. You can see here, I'm going to open this up. This is the front, and I'm going to put my die cutting side up on top of this butterfly, and it takes me a second sometimes. There we go. Okay, so you just kind of get it settled in the spot. Find where it kind of wants to settle in. There we go. We're going to add our paper on here, just like that. And actually, that's too far down because I made a smaller piece. Hold on. Let's do it right here. I'm trying to make sure it's straight. Okay. So we'll do it like that. I'm going to flip that back over. I'm going to pop this in here so you can see the die right there on top, and it's facing down now because we've got it upright again. And then I'm going to pop this in here and with my number 4 plate and run this through. Now, something you might be already noticing when I run my folders through. Do you see this? It's not straight. I am very careful about how I do this because when I have a folder that's this wide, you got to be super careful. You probably noticed when I put in these folders that are smaller, I almost always do it at an angle. It goes through the machine a little bit easier if you don't have a flat edge for it to bump over. It's kind of like a speed bump. You guys ever gone over a speed bump sideways or just with one wheel? It's a lot better than just going over both straight. So I usually put it through like this with these 6-inch folders that are the full 6-inch wide. You can cockeye them just a little bit, but I try to make sure that I stay nearly inside this border. You have a little more clearance than this plate here, so I just kind of watch it. If you run it through and it's sticking out, it can damage your folder, okay? So just be aware of that. You don't want this part of your folder to get damaged because it's at an angle. So just a little bit, don't do too much. So like for instance, my habit is to make sure it's inside here and then I let it peek out a little bit over here and I leave a gap. Do you see the gap I'm leaving here? So I make sure I don't let it go too much because I don't want anything to get caught up. But that helps me run this through a little bit smoother. Okay, so that's just a little tip about embossing folders too. It is better to put them at an angle if you can. If you can't, that's okay too. It's not the end of the world. It will go over, but it kind of makes a loud gunk noise. It's fine. It's not hurting your machine, but there you go. Okay, so you can see here, because I put the die in it, it cut out this image at the same time. I still have the outside part I could use as well, so I can use both parts. I can use this as a negative, all kinds of different options here for these pieces. However, I can also use this die separately and run through to cut out my stamped image, or I can use the folder separately to run through and have everything still intact and not cut out. So that's the benefit of hybrid folders. Okay, so there's that one. Let's move that over here to the side. Okay, so that's the hybrid folder. All right, now let's talk about dies in general. So I'm going to get rid of my number 4 plate now because we're kind of past, well, we're not totally past it. I am going to come back to it, but I want to talk about dies next. Sorry, I've got hiccups because that's usually the other thing that we do with our machine. So with dies, you're almost always going to use your adapter plate, which is number 2. Your number 3 bottom plate is next. Okay, then you put your paper down and you add a die. So I'm going to use these around it all. By the way, these are about to retire. They're in the last chance list. So if you haven't already purchased these, grab them now. They're amazing. Let's see, which one did I plan to use? I guess it was this one. They're absolutely amazing, and I'm so sad that they're going to go. Okay, so I'm going to pop this on here. Now, this is a shape die, so it's a nice big shape. It doesn't have any like little bits in it or anything like that, so I just put it in there and run this through. Another little tip I have for you, some people ask me, why is my plate getting stuck? Well, every machine is calibrated a little bit different. They're not exactly the same with their pressure, okay? So what you might want to do is you take your plates like this and you've got them all lined up. Now take this top plate and push it forward just a little bit. Can y'all see that? I want to make sure there's a delay on my camera, so I just want to make sure you guys are seeing this. So I'm going to take this top plate and I'm going to push it forward just a little bit. So it's going to go through everything first. Okay, so you see that? Now I could take this down if I need to, by the way, before I put my top plate on, but I don't need to. I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to run that through and it will go through your machine a little bit easier. So again, if you need to ever take something down, use some washi tape, unstick it a little bit so it's not too sticky, and then add that on, and that way it won't move when you run it through, okay? So now I have my die cut out, and I can use or recycle this depending on what I'm doing, etc. Okay? So that's regular die cutting. Now, I'm going to point something out here because I just have to. This is such a great tip. We can also use our embossing, our die cuts, especially big ones like this, but even smaller ones. You can then run them through an embossing folder, and this is a thin one, so I'm going to take away my number 2, put number 3 on top there, and now I'm going to run this through the embossing folder, and now I have a shape and it's been embossed. Why not add extra oomph to your cards by doing stuff like this? Isn't that cool? This is the new turtle textures, by the way. So I've run it through a circle and then like that. Okay? Now, I also want to point out here, hold on, did I grab that one? I did. Okay. Actually, let me talk about that in a minute. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Never mind. Hold on. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is detailed dies. So detailed dies are things that have little pieces. So you can see this is what this die is going to look like. All right. So I'm going to grab this one from Beautiful Motifs. Now some dies, like a few of the ones in this set, do not cut out completely. They just cut out like little pop-up pieces that you can then stick out, which is super cool. But I'm going to use one of the ones that actually cuts out a full detailed piece. So I'm going to pop this on here. We're going to run this through. Oops, I left out my 2. I was like, wow, that just shoved through there. That's not right. I left out number 2. Make sure number 2 is in there. Let's try that again. All right, so we're going to run this through. And then when this pops out, I'm going to move this for a second just so we have some room here. When this pops out, now, you have little pieces that sometimes come out and get stuck to your board. Please make sure that you clean off your board. What do I mean by that? Don't leave little pieces on your board. Make sure if they're stuck, use something. I usually use a palette knife to unstick those and recycle or throw those away so that your mat is clean. If there's something on here and then you go and put a piece of paper on top of it, it's going to emboss it with that little piece that was stuck there. Don't do that. It doesn't look good. Okay, so make sure that's cleaned off. It's not just being neurotic, it's actually important. Okay, so sometimes your die will fall out of your die cut will fall out of your die like this one just did, and that's mostly because this is pretty new and I haven't used it a whole lot. And that's great, but it doesn't always release from the paper. So if it doesn't release from the paper, in this case, I can gently pull it from the paper. And then I have little pieces on the inside that I need to remove that I can poke out, or I can weed with my, I don't have my sponge here, but my sponge mat. I'm just going to poke them out. And there's only a couple, so not a big deal. All right, to get it completely clean and ready to use. If it's still stuck in here, you can use the little circles on the back here to punch out your die, and then just be gentle when you pull it out so that you don't, break anything. If there's pieces left in here, again, you can punch those out and get those out of here as well. If you saw my Pick Your Tool video, I did talk a little bit about this kind of stuff there. Just showing you this from the other aspect of actually cutting when you're doing stuff. Now, this is where I want to talk about what do you do when you keep getting a die stuck in your, or die cuts stuck in your die. So we have some options. What I recommend, let me get rid of all these pieces here. Okay, what I recommend is to get a piece of wax paper. This is just regular old wax paper. I'm going to grab my machine again, and I'm going to put this in as though it was the piece of paper that I'm die cutting, but it's not. And I'm just going to put my die on top of that with the wax paper under it, and I'm going to run it through. And you can do this multiple times if you like. It's just going to push some of that wax, and and I usually come back and forth. And also, if you ever have trouble with a die not cutting all the way through, do this. Go through once or twice. I'm just getting some pressure into the die to get that wax in there. But if you go through multiple times back and forth, that does sometimes help with cutting. Okay, so, and then you might have to pull this out of here. Again, it just depends, but usually not. Make sure you clean this up, of course. I'm just going to do it over my trash can so that I don't get little pieces that are clear everywhere. Okay, and now there's going to be a little bit of a wax film on this. I can keep using it. If it starts sticking again, I just repeat that process, okay? So that is how you add a little bit of wax to your die to help it release. All right. Moving on from that, wax paper trick, yeah. Okay, so moving on from that, we're going to talk a little bit about partial die cutting. So I don't know how well you guys, or if you've ever done this before, but partial die cutting is really fun. And there's different reasons to do it, but I'm just kind of going to show you a basic thing. So here's our Heart of Elegance dies. I'm going to take a heart here, and I'm going to pop this in here like so. Try to get it straight, since I can always make use of it later. I'm going to pop this in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this where the end of my top plate is, wherever I want the cutting to stop. So I want it to cut through here, but I don't want it to cut through here. Does that make sense? So I want this part to cut out, but this part not. So I'm going to run this through. And yes, that often happens. It's okay. It's just the pressure. It just made it fly. It's not going to hurt anything. I've done it many times. It's just loud. Sorry about the loud. I should have warned you. All right. So then when you take this off, this is partially die cut. So now what are we going to do with that? Like, why would you do that? Let me show you why. Now, most often I do this at the top of a card, but it can be done anywhere. So this is a really cute way to make, this is a quarter sheet basically, and this is a super cute way to make little things for a table. So basically what I would do then is take this, and I'm going to put this in right where that ends, and I am going to fold here, or not fold, but mark there. Now, because I didn't measure ahead of time, if you want to measure ahead of time, you can always do that, but I'm just going to measure this real quick. So this is at 2 and 1 little 1/16 of an inch past my 1/4 inch mark. So I'm going to cut that same thing here. We want that mark right there. Hold on, I'm making sure I'm in the right place. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of a little bit of that. I could also make this line first and then die cut. So now I can fold this down like this, and I have a little stand up piece. So when I burnish this, I can stand this up, and now I can put more hearts on this. I could cut out another color and put it on top, or other sizes of hearts and put those on top, and I can make a little tag or something for a table. So there are different reasons why you might want to partial die cut things, for cards, for 3D projects, for all kinds of things. I mean, there's a million reasons, but that is what partial die cutting is. Okay. So that shown, and I'm, like I said, I'm not delving into any of these super deep, because we're not making projects today. We're just talking about some techniques. All right, so that's the partial die cutting. Then we have extended die cutting. So for this, I'm going to use one of the stylish shapes. I'm going to use the square. And I'm going to pretend, hey, I want a stitched rectangle, and I don't have one, but hey, I have this stitched square. Okay. So, or anything else it does need to be straight. You can't really do it with circles. It doesn't really work. I don't know, maybe somebody can figure out a way to do it with circles, but I haven't. So for this, I am going to take a piece and I'm going to put my square in here. Let's go this way. All right, and now here's the thing about squares. When you run squares, it's the same thing as an embossing folder. You have a flat edge. So I usually try to put anything with a flat edge through my embossing machine at an angle if I can. If I can't, that's fine. It can go in straight, it's not gonna hurt it, but it will go through easier this way. So what I'm gonna do, because of the fact that I am trying to do a continuous cut, it is gonna be straight, but normally you would see me do this at an angle, okay? So again, I'm going to put this in basically the same way I was doing with partial die cutting. I'm going to stop right here, okay? So I'm going to cut, and I'm going to try to catch my plate this time because it will kick it out sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to cut, but you can see it didn't finish cutting. Why? Because I didn't have a top plate past that point. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I am going to line it up. And if you kind of feel your cut line, you can line it up perfectly. Okay, so you can see I can feel my cut line there. I'm going to line that up with my previous cut line. I want it to be straight. And because I don't want it to move after I have found that spot, whoops, I'm gonna add tape to it. Hold on, let me make sure I've got it in the right spot. All right, there we go. So I am going to add tape to this because I don't want it to slide and go off track. So I've got it lined up with this cut. And you can feel it, it'll kind of set into the groove. And then I'll run through. Again, I'm going to stop before I get to the end. And it did go all the way through. Okay, there we go. So I stopped before I got to the end of that piece, and now I have a stitched rectangle instead of a stitched square from a stitched square die. So this is extended die cutting, which is super fun. You can do it with sentiments, you can do it with punches, guys. That's a whole nother topic, but you can do this with you know, anything that basically has kind of a straight edge, or like borders and things like that. You can just keep on cutting. So that's how you do the extended cut. But in particular, this is the way you do it with something like this that's a full shape. Borders are easier. You just kind of keep going. But if you ever want to do this and make a bigger shape, that's how you do it. Okay, so that's extended cutting. All right. Also, I want to go back to our embossing folders and show you a fun little tip real quick for embossing folders. So I am going to, I think these are both thick. Yes, they are. So I'm going to grab my number 4 plate again. Oh, it keeps going out. Uh-oh. Is anybody else having problems with hearing it? Okay, I am using the Soft Waves folder for this, and I want to try to get, let's see, which side do I want to use? I want to try to get where it looks like, well, it could look like water, but I want it to kind of look like snowdrifts. So I'm going to add this in here, and you could do this at an angle, or you can do it straight. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do it, I think, at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to pop this in here sideways. Now, normally I recommend always running your embossing folder through this way. I am going to do it sideways because I can't do it this way. But normally I highly recommend always going in with your folded end first, okay? That is another important tip. So I'm going to pop this in here, and I'm going to run that through. So this is multi-embossing, or what I call multi-embossing. And so I'm going to add this. Now I could actually leave it just like this, which is super cool looking all on its own. However, so you don't have to use an embossing folder for your entire piece of paper. So that's a good thing to know, right? However, I'm going to use it, and I'm going to add some snow. So I'm using the Snowflake Sky embossing folder for the other end. And I'm going to run this through now. And look at this. How cool is that? Isn't that neat? So now it kind of looks like I have snowdrifts and I have my snow falling. So you can do multiple folders, and it doesn't have to be scenery. It could be anything. It could just be words and some kind of pattern. It doesn't really matter. I just decided to do this because I thought it'd be super cute with our new cloud cover color. So pretty. Okay. Now, the other cool thing is if you are using our new, this is our solid core paper, but if you are using our new papers, let me show, oh, I forgot to cut a piece. Hold on, let me grab one. So if you're using our new 12 by 12 white core papers, I gotta grab a piece here. So we have 12 by 12 white core paper that looks like this, and it is 2 colors. So you have the dark of, this is Pool Party, whatever color, and then light of that color on the other side. So normal and light on the other side. And then it has a white core. So the cool thing you can do with this one, if you want to, let's do the exact same thing. How about that? We'll do the exact same thing with this. So I'm going to put the snowdrift in first. So you'll see this again. We'll run this through. And then we'll run our snow. Yeah, there's so many great things you can do with your embossing machine that people just, you know, miss. And it is an investment, you guys, to buy an embossing machine, but it is absolutely worth it because you can add so much great stuff, whether it's layers or texture or dyes. I mean, just so many different things to your cards. Okay, so here's our 2 different, hold on, let me put this stuff away, out of the way for just a second. We'll come back to our embossing machine here in a minute. Let me show you this. If you've missed this technique in the past, you've got to see this. Okay, so this is regular paper and it's super cool. Love it. Great technique. Great for the background. However, if you buy the white core paper to do this technique with, and you're doing something particularly like snowflakes or anything that you want there to be a white thing to show, you can then take any kind of file. I highly recommend something soft because you don't want to over file it. And then you run this over the design. And you can see my design, the raised parts are popping up. Now I could do just the snow and leave this as is, or I can also come in here, and this will take a little more effort because it's not as high of a definition. I like using this because it's flat and I can keep it flat on the surface of my paper. So the more I do it, the lighter it will get until you get down to the core white of the paper. And it's up to you if you go that far or if you just want to create a little bit of, oops, try not to bend it like I just did. If you just want to create a little bit of color differentiation. Oops. Wish I hadn't done that. Okay, but anyway, you guys see that, right? So can you see the color differentiation there? I haven't gotten down to the white. In a few places you can start to see the white, but I haven't really fully gotten down to the white. I can keep working on it, maybe even with a little bit harder. This one's actually been used a lot, so it's kind of dull. If I had a brand new one, it would get down to white faster, but I'll show you. See it? So I can do that all over. And I can get this wonderful look. Isn't that cool? Such a cool technique. That's like a technique video all on its own, added to this cool how to use video. So you can do this multi-folder thing as well. Now I have like dust, paper dust everywhere. It's okay. It's a craft space. It's supposed to have paper dust. Okay. All right, back to our machine. Okay, now I'm sure you guys have questions. Just hold them. We'll get there. And if you've already put up a question, you're going to have to repost it in a little bit, okay? Because I haven't seen any questions yet. So, all right, We'll get to the quick Q&A here in a minute. All right, I want to talk about storage, okay? So storage with this machine, I kind of already mentioned, sorry for the hiccup, is, you know, it folds down. Sorry for the bop here. Okay, so it does fold down, and then you have your plates separate. Or if you're like me, I just leave it like this. Why store it like that? I don't know. If that's what you want to do, do it. Absolutely. It's great for travel because you can put, it's more compact, all those things. But honestly, at home, I don't store it that way. Some people do, some people don't. I don't. I actually store my plates in it, and I put them in the center so that they stay pressured. Some people say, don't do that. It's bad for the pressure bars. I have never had a problem with it, but that's my opinion. I am not the person that designed this, so I can't tell you one way or the other, but this is how I store mine always. I just store it with all my plates in here, except, of course, number 4. And so this is what I do to store mine. You do you. Okay. Cleaning. It is important to keep your plates clean, okay? So I will tell you that today, I wipe this down with alcohol, the main machine. I get under here and just wipe everything down because it does get paper dust collection and things like that. Today, before my video, I went and cleaned this. So I get buildup in on the bottom of my number 1 plate all the time because it's running through the bars, and the paper dust gets compacted and it smooshes into this. And I just go and wash it with water and soap and a little bit of, I actually have, do you guys have these new mesh, they're like mesh metal washcloths? They're amazing. If you don't have them yet, send me a text and I'll send you the link for them. I love them. Anyway, so I just wash that off, dry it. Same thing with these, wash and dry with soap and water. Now, this one I will tell you, because this is my cutting plate, it takes a little more effort. I wash it a little bit stronger, make sure that I get as much of the, you know, paper dust that's stuck down in here as I can. But as you can see, it's still got plenty. This is an old plate. I've been cutting on this plate for a long time. And so it's definitely worn out. But I try to get it as clean as I can, and then I dry it, and you don't want to use this right away. Make sure it's completely dry before you use it again. You can use, you know, your heat gun or set it out in the sun if you want to. I used my heat gun a little bit to just make sure it was really dry, but most of the time I just let it air dry. I just do it at a time when I'm not going to be using it, and I let it air dry overnight or something like that. Another thing I want to talk about is placement. So you might look at this, this particular, I'm going to flip that over just so you can see this better. So if you're looking at this plate, you're going to notice that not every single die that I put on here, I don't always use the middle of my plate. It's super important that you cut in every area of your plate. So I constantly am trying to get a particular around the edges. I try to cut in different places on my plate so that it's not just being cut in the center. If you only cut in the center of your plate, it is going to warp faster. They do warp, it happens, it's not the end of the world. There are some troubleshooting things I'm going to talk about here in a second, but this is the first step to that troubleshooting, is make sure you're cutting with your dies all over the place, especially if you're cutting the same die over and over again. Make sure you're moving it around the plate so that you're not getting everything cut just in the center. That said, if you're having trouble with a particular area of your plate cutting well and you need to get a delicate die cut in a certain place, make sure you put it where it's going to cut better. Move it around. So if I put it here and it's not cutting all the way through, I may need to move it over here or whatever to make sure that it's cutting all the way through. Okay. Another tip I have for delicate dies that aren't cutting all the way through, I'm going to use this as, pretend like this is my paper. I would put my paper down, cutting side, my paper is there, my cutting side is down. I'm going to add my top plate, but then you can flip this part of your sandwich over upside down. You probably want to tape your die to your paper if you're going to do this to make sure it doesn't move. Flip it over and then run it through. Okay, don't forget to change it back around. You don't want to accidentally cut the other way. Some of you might be going, why does it matter if I cut on just one plate or both? I'm going to tell you why. I did this in the beginning. In the beginning, when I first started using a die cutting machine, I cut with both plates. I didn't care. I did all of that. And what I found is that I started getting dents from the places where I had previously cut. If this plate was on top when I cut, I'd get dents in, like, embossing in the top of my piece of paper. That is one of the reasons, and only one of the reasons, why you want to have a bottom plate and a top plate. Okay? So my top plate, if you're having trouble with it going through, do that. Also, don't forget the run it back and forth a couple of times. That can be super helpful as well. Yes, there's actually a lot of techniques with the white core, Diane. You can do the ripping, the tearing, which shows the white core, which is super cool too. But yeah, those are the main ones that I use often for white core. Wish I had designed a place for all the plates all together with it closed. I don't understand what that means, Diane. Can you be more specific? Designed a place for all the plates together with it closed? I don't understand that. So if you can just clarify for me, and I'll try to help you. Okay. What was I going to say about that? Okay, warping. Let's talk a little bit more about the warping part. Also, if you get glue of any kind, like stickiness from your tape and things like that, you can, of course, clean these off with alcohol too. I also highly recommend that to keep them clean as well. Done a place for all the plates all together with it closed. Oh, you're saying you wish there was a thing that you could put all your plates with your... So honestly, when I used to store it closed, I stored it... Let's do this again. Sorry. When I used to store it closed, I'd put all my plates like this and just pop it on top. So you can see it's about the same size overall, and this is how I stored it. So if you need a smaller place to store your machine, store it on top of your plates. That also keeps these flatter as well. Okay? So yeah, it would be I would love a bag. I have to tell you, I would love a bag too. That would be super cool. I think that would be awesome. However, I would probably only use it for travel, because I would not like taking it in and out of something. So, you can always get a little storage bin and keep it all together in there if you want to. I honestly just store it on my shelf with the thing on it like that. And so that's what I typically do. But I understand what you're saying. Absolutely. Totally get it. Yes, if you don't have enough room to leave it out, and I understand that, yeah, just store it on top of your plates. It also helps keep your plates up. You can see that mine are not all flat, and that's okay. I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. Okay. So we talked about sorry, I lost my track of what I was saying. Y'all are getting me off track. Don't say it. If you want to say something, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I used a letter organizer for the trays, and then there's a spot for a pick tool, scissors, tape. Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea, Brenda. A letter organizer. There you go. That's a great idea. I think that's wonderful. Wonderful suggestion. I appreciate that. Thank you for giving it. I hope you guys know what she's talking about. Like I'm assuming you're talking about the kind where the letters like go in up and down like this, so you can put your plates in there, and then you might even have a couple other little places for pens and things like that, so you could put like your other, your pick your tools and stuff like that in there too. That's a great idea. Okay, yeah, I'm about to talk about warping. I was talking about cleaning, alcohol. Okay, that's where I was. Okay. Warping. Let's talk about warping, because this is a common question. All right, these plates are not meant, these two, the threes, are not meant to last forever. These last forever. Okay, you're not going to need to replace these. I really I've never had to replace these, because you don't cut on these. They're just causing pressure. All right, and with this one, it does occasionally warp a little bit. You can see it's not the end of the world. I just flip it over and I just, whenever it warps a little bit, I flip it over, and then I flip it back the other way when it starts to warp the other way. So that's not a big deal. Oh, I just remembered something I was going to tell you guys. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to grab, another thing is, if you have dies, because every machine is calibrated differently, sometimes you have delicate dies, like real detailed dies that are not cutting all the way through. Take a piece of cardstock. You choose whether or not you want to use thin or thick, okay? And put it under here on top of your 1. And then you put your number 2. Sorry, I'll do it like this so you know what I'm talking about. Number 2 back on top. And then do everything the same way you would do, put your die, blah, blah, blah. It's going to add just a little extra pressure, because you don't want to do too much, to the sandwich. And so that may help it cut a little bit better. Don't do this for everything. That's hard on your machine. But if you have a die that's giving you a little bit of trouble, I do have a piece of cardstock handy that I just run through with that. So, oops, sorry, can't put that. That was actually a card base. I was just using it to show you. So that is something you can do for that. Okay, back to the warping. Yes. Okay, I think that's a great idea, Urban. Ubin? Is it Ubin? I think it's Ubin. Brenda. I don't know why I went to say your last name first. I'm crazy. Okay, have you been on before, Brenda? Is this your first time? If it's your first time, let us know. We'd like to welcome you. Is there anybody else on that's new that said, hey, I'm new? Because I'd love to hear. And if you guys didn't say what's in your cup, go ahead and tell me now, because I'm about to have a sip of water. I'm having water right now. Okay, too much talking. All right, let's talk about warping. So these 2 plates, the number 3s, are not meant to last forever. I do, not right away when you buy your first machine, but definitely soon. I recommend buying another set of plates. So we have replacement plates on the website in the catalog. Oh, well, welcome, Brenda. I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for participating. I love that. Okay, so, and you're having Diet Coke. There you go. Oh, Tanya's having Gatorade. So you want to have an extra set of plates. It's important to have one because at some point you may need them. And the last thing you want to happen is to have an issue with your plates in the middle of a project and then not have them handy. So I highly recommend always having a set of plates, an extra set on hand. Okay, why? Well, because sometimes, and depending on how you treat your plates, if you do all the things I'm saying, like one of the things you want to do, we already talked about, which is making sure you're cutting in different plates of your, different areas of your plate. You also want to flip your plate regularly. So use the cutting plate, the number 2, the bottom one, the number 3 bottom one. You want to make sure you flip it regularly and you're cutting all over it, right? So you can see I've done that with this plate, right? It's all over cut. And that's normal. That's what it ends up looking like when it's not brand new. This one's not brand new, but you can see it's clean because it's my top plate. Okay, so when you do this, they will last forever. This is totally flat. I have had no problems with it. I've had it for a very long time. However, it does happen. Look, here's some plates that have warped. And you can keep using them until they annoy you. I keep those just to show. Okay, so you can keep using them until they annoy you. But what will happen sometimes is the plate will eventually crack because it has been used for so long. It happens. It's happened to me. I don't have one of those anymore. I got rid of them. I don't know why. I meant to keep one. But they'll crack. And when that happens, you need to get rid of it. Can it be used? Yes. Is it going to be optimal? No. So if you want your machine to work the best, I recommend getting rid of a cracked plate. I mean, if it's just a little like teeny thing that's barely going through it, that's fine. But once it cracks and like actually busts, you want to get rid of it. Okay. So then what do? Let's pretend this one just broke. I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to take my top plate that I've been using forever and ever, and I'm going to make that my bottom plate now, and I'm going to add on a brand new plate. Guess what? I need to order some, because the last time I went to order some, they were gone. So I don't have one, but I'm going to use a brand new plate for my top plate, and my old top plate becomes my bottom plate. Okay? That's what I do. Why? Because this does have little tiny dents in it because I've been using it for so long that are created from the pressure of the top of the die. So it does happen. It's just less than what you get on the cutting side. So I just turn this into my cutting side plate, and then I add a brand new clean plate on top. Okay, so that is my recommendation. Definitely get rid of your cracked plates. They are going to cause pressure issues, and they're not going to cut as well, and all the things, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so maintenance. Anything else on maintenance? I'm trying to remember if we need. Okay, so replacement parts we already talked about too, because you basically, the only thing you ever need to replace are these, and we do have those available. Troubleshooting, we talked about wax paper already, but I do want to talk about dryer sheets. So another little tip I have is on this bottom cutting plate, you can take some dryer sheets, whatever kind you have, and I just cut a little square. You don't need a whole lot, like you don't need a whole dryer sheet. Save them, right? I'm just going to use a little square, and I'm going to rub this on my plate, and this is going to help paper from not sticking to the surface of my plate as badly. Also, if you, especially in the winter, I get a lot of static electricity, so this will help with my static electricity. So I just run this on my plate, and also smells really nice. So I just run this on my plate, and I'll do both sides and make sure that I get all of my static electricity gone, and it will also help keep the papers from sticking so bad as well. Okay, so that's another little tip from me to you. Okay, what else? Gosh, I know I thought of something else, but I'm just drawing a blank right now. So what I want now is for you guys to start asking me questions. So Lori says, do you have the rubber plate? Did you talk about how to use it? There is not a rubber plate. There is this plate. Are you talking about the number 4? We talked about how to use that, but that's not rubber. There is not a rubber plate that comes with this. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. Oh, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the, what did I do with it? Hold on. Where is he? He's here somewhere. I bought, oh gosh, I don't see it. Maybe I've got it. What did I do with it? Okay, I bought some plates from a company that claims that they're self-healing and they will last you forever. It isn't true. They don't last forever. Honestly, I don't think they last any longer than these, and they are more expensive. So I did use one. I tested it. I used it forever and ever, and it started warping just like these do on occasion. Again, if it starts warping, you want to, kind of rotate your plate. Some people, I've never done it personally, but some people will put their plates, if they warp, in the oven to get them to go flat. And that's possible, but you can see this one's warped and I use it all the time. It's fine. It's my top plate. I don't care. That's great. I'm glad. Questions. Anybody have questions or something you said earlier that I missed that I need to address? I'll try to give everybody a chance here to ask any questions that they have. All right, I love my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. The soft, flexible layer that's not Stampin' Up that creates an embossed effect to cut an image. So you've purchased a rubber plate of some kind that's not Stampin' Up that you're using with the machine. I do not have that. I am just talking about the actual plates that we have. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen it. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm always careful about introducing a product to a machine like this that's so expensive that doesn't come with it. I want to be careful because I don't want to break my machine. So I'm always very careful about that. So if there's a product that you would like me to look at, Lori, the flexible layer, I would love to look at it. so that I can tell everybody else about it. But I always want to try those first myself. But I do think I know what you're talking about. And yes, there are other ways that you can use your machine too. You can emboss with dies even. There's all kinds of fun things that you can do. I didn't go into super detail in a whole lot of techniques. You can add ink to your embossing folders. There's so many different things you can do, but we just kind of did some of the basics of the machine. You have the old Big Shot from Stampin' Up! And it came with a rubber plate. Yeah, okay, so I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I would say if you have it, whichever way you could use it with the Big Shot, you should be able to use it the same way with this, because the sandwich hasn't changed. Like, this is the same sandwich that you use in a Big Shot. Like, there's no difference, right? It's the machine that's different, essentially, right? So, however that plate works with the Big Shot, basically use it the same way you would with that. Yes, so they did try to do a magnetic sheet. The problem with the magnetic plates is, because I had one, they get damaged too fast, and they're too expensive, and it's just not cost prohibitive. It's super cost prohibitive, I mean. So, yeah, you can do it. You can buy, there are magnetic plates out there. They warp and break really fast. So it's not worth, Stampin' Up! Was like, we don't want to carry this product because it's just not working. So that's up to you. If you want to do that kind of thing, you can buy one from a different company to replace one of these. And that's certainly your prerogative. Oh, good. I'm glad you thought I was thorough. I'm sure. Have I ever taken it apart to clean it? I have not. I keep it generally clean. Like I said, I clean my plates regularly, and I wipe this down regularly with alcohol so that I'm not getting a whole bunch of stuff in it. So I haven't needed to take it apart. I know that if you do need to take it apart, you can get into it. Oh, look, there's a hair on the bottom because I just put it on the floor. So, like, look, here's a screw that's getting a little loose. I need to tighten up. So you can get into it, I believe, here. My fear with opening this up and trying to do anything to it is that I will mess up the pressure of the rollers and screw everything up, and then it won't work right. And I don't want to do that because this is they're not a super cheap item. They're not super expensive either. They're middle of the road. But what is it, 120, I think, or something like that? Honestly, I've forgotten. It's been so long since I purchased it. But I don't want to hurt it. So I honestly don't do that. I feel like I can take this and clean the outside. I take a cloth, a paper towel, and I add a little bit of alcohol. And I set it in here on the rollers, and I roll through, and I get all of the roller cleaned off. And as long as all this is cleaned, and I'm doing that on a regular basis, so I'm not getting lots of paper stuff in my machine, and I use mine a lot, guys. It's fine. So as long as I'm cleaning my plates and I'm cleaning this, I feel like it works okay. Did I miss anything else? Big Shot. Okay, let's see. Yours wouldn't close completely on one side. There's a part broken inside. Oh my gosh, that's weird. I would call them and see if they have any troubleshooting ideas for you. It's $140? Really? Did it go up? It must have gone up. I forgot about that. So many things have gone up lately because of inflation. So, yeah, buying it when there's free shipping. Of course, buying it when you're a demonstrator helps because you save money on that. That kind of thing. Yeah, so Kathy, I would definitely call Stampin' Up! And see if they have any troubleshooting to help you with that, because they should. They should be able to help you with that. That's never happened to mine, so I don't know it. I don't know. Any other questions I can answer? I figured you'd have way more questions than this, guys. I guess I did a little bit better job than I thought. I know there's things I haven't covered today. But I'm hoping that you got a little bit of help with some of the things that you've struggled with. Like, is there anything you've ever struggled with and you're wondering, how do I fix that? How do I make that thing do what it should do, or whatever? Like, that's what I'm here. That's what I'm trying to alleviate, is some of those stressors that you guys have when you're using your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Because I know if you've never used an embossing machine before, there's lots that you may not know. And so that was my hope, is that I could teach you guys some of those things and then answer any questions that any struggles you've had or whatever. While I'm waiting to see if anybody asked that question, can I ask you guys, friend to friend? This is me asking friend to friend. I've never done this before. I used kind of a mildly opaque polish on my nails. So that's my natural nail with just some glitter on top, and like it's not fully clear. It's got like a little bit, it's kind of like the back color that they use on, it's similar to the back color they use on French. Do you like it? Do you think it's pretty, or is it weird? I want your opinion. I want my friends' opinions about my nails. Okay. If you put plates in 220 oven with parchment sandwich, cast iron pan on top, or a brick, turn the oven off and let it remain overnight. Okay, so Jeffrey is giving you the recipe for unwarping your plates. I've never done it, so I can't attest to it, but he says put your plates on parchment paper with a cast iron pan or a brick on top of them to hold them down flat, and then make sure the oven is already at 220, and then turn it off and let it sit there overnight, is what you're saying, Jeffrey. That is his recipe for unwarping, I believe. So hopefully that works. I always get confused on sandwich with 3D versus regular. Okay, are you clearer now about it, Jill? That's my question. Do you feel like you have it now? Have you heard about using foil to... Yes. Okay, that's a great question. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Kathy. Yes, you, just like I did with the wax paper, you can put a piece of foil under your... you can put a piece of foil under your die and run it through, and that supposedly will sharpen your dies. I don't know. I've tried it. I don't know if it made a difference. I couldn't tell if it was the die that was the issue or the pressure. Like, I try so many different things, but I've never had a problem with, usually it's pressure for me. If I put a little piece of paper between my other plates before I put that in and add a little extra pressure, I'm fine. So I felt like that worked for me. But yes, I have heard before, and I have tried before using the foil. I just don't know if I can give my opinion about whether it actually sharpened it. It might have. Let's see here. So Jill, can you tell me, are you clear now between the 3D versus the regular sandwiches? Let me know that, because I want to make sure that that's good. Play with the handle a lot. You normally have to play with the handle a lot. What does that mean, Katie? I don't know what you mean by that. So the handle, while she's giving us an answer, let me take these out and close this real quick. Okay, I will. So the handle has this little cover that keeps the screw in there, and it does have some grease in there, so I tend to get grease on me whenever I mess with this. So your screw needs to be completely screwed in. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I've had this thing forever and ever, and I finally just the other day had to rewind that down. And then this keeps you from losing the screw, right? And it looks nicer too, okay? Then you just pop that back in. So if you have to do that, that's fine. It happens from time to time. Like I said, I've had to do it once since I've owned this, and I've owned it since the beginning, since we first came out with these. So I use it a ton. So, and every machine's going to be a little bit different. They're not all, they're not all exact, right? So, yeah, hope that helps. Okay. Have I ever done the dies behind to see if the die cut all the way through? What? I'm not sure I understand that question, Katie. Have I ever done the dies behind? I mean, it doesn't normal catch when I sent the die through. I still don't understand what you're saying there, Katie. Sorry, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being blonde right now. I'm not sure. Okay, so as far as the folders go, yes, I did mention rolling back and forth if it doesn't cut all the way through. I mentioned that earlier twice. Okay, so you can definitely do that. If it's not cutting all the way through, go back and forth a couple of times all the way through, and hopefully that will work. Okay, so the embossing folders. Let me go back to these. Hold on. So the embossing folders, the difference, you can usually see it in the thickness. So the thickness of your standard embossing folder is the same as your number 2 plate. Okay? So if you put these up together and they basically look the same, then that is a standard plate. A standard folder, and you're going to remove this for your sandwich, and it has it right here. Okay, so that's the standard folder. You're going to use the 1 and the 2 3s. You're going to get rid of the 2 because it's the same size. You're basically replacing that thickness in your sandwich, right? Okay, so that's your standard, and then your thicker folder comparatively is thicker. It's like twice as thick. Okay, if you look at them side by side, this one is significantly thicker, and if it says, for our company at least, if it says 3D in the name, you know that that is a thicker plate. The 3D is always a thicker plate, okay? And so then the thicker plates, you get rid of all of the 2 and the 3 plates. You do your 1, you add the thicker plate with the paper in it, and you put the 4 on top for your sandwich. So that's the sandwich for that one, okay? So those are the 2 plates. All of our hybrids and all of our the 3Ds and hybrids, they're all the thicker style. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay. Okay. You can talk to me about it later, but it won't help everybody else in case there's something that I needed to tell them. Okay. It's hard to explain here. Okay. Okay. All right, well, it looks like that's all the questions. If you guys think of something else, feel free to pop it up there. I'm going to go ahead and do quick announcements, and then we'll do the drawing. And for those of you that are doing the Party Piggy layout, and we had a technical issue last night, right as we were getting started, I am going to do the layout in a video following this. So if you are wanting to watch that, you can get back on in a minute with that. Gray plate, not regular plate. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, let me grab this. Okay, so announcements. If you guys have not already signed up for the In Color Club, last chance to sign up for this. The In Color Club is awesome. I've got a couple things missing from this because we are using them right now for the class. So let me grab all the things here. Okay, there's a few things other than that missing too. So for the In Color Club, if you guys are interested in doing this, there are 5 new In Colors. They are, oops, I lost one. They are Strawberry Slush, Timid Tiger, Darling Duckling, Cloud Cover, and Secret Sea. Beautiful colors. If you would like to have everything in those colors for your collection, then you can do the In Color Club and get it all. And so this is a great way to kind of spread that out if you'd like to, or of course you can pay for it all up front and I'll send it all to you. So the Strawberry Slush will be the first month, and then so on. First month is June. So in each of the packets, you get a full pack of that color paper. So 24 sheets of cardstock. You get a stamp pad, the ribbon, the faux linen ribbon. You get the blends. You get these are alcohol based. You get the water based marker and the water based refill for the marker and the ink pad. You also get the designer series paper, which you don't see here, but it is pictured up here. I had to use it the other day. I bought more. You get the designer series paper in that color, and you will get a card designed by me that is a monochromatic card design for this particular month. And we'll put that together during a live. And so we'll do that every month. It's $66 a month. If I need to send it to you, there's the shipping cost as well. And then that is due on the 14th of each of the 5 months. Also, you will get a free gift from me just for doing the club, which is a package of the 2527 In Color pearls sent with your stuff as well. So super fun. Everybody always loves this. If you're a demonstrator and you don't want to buy all of this from me, then you can buy this stuff from yourself, and maybe you still want the card kits along with the PDF. You can do that. So you can get the 5 card kits and the PDF for a one-time fee of $15 plus 5 shipping if I need to send it, or I can throw it in with something else if you get stuff from me regularly. Or you can buy just the PDF for $10. So if you want, and make the card kits yourself. You do have to purchase this stuff though separately, because that is not part of the card kits. So make sure you're buying your paper and your inks and all that kind of stuff, because that will be part of the cards, but not in the card kits. Okay? So if you guys would like that option, just let me know that too. Like I said, that closes out on the 14th. So be sure to do all of that by then. Okay. That said, we also have going on the amazing album retreat. So I showed this yesterday in our club, but I do want, or our class, but I do want to show this again today because there's so many more people on today. So I want to show this real quickly because lots of people have been wanting to see it up close. So if you haven't already purchased this, this is while supplies last. It is a retreat. It is a full album. And when I say full album, I mean full album. It is 12 layouts, guys. 12 layouts, one for each month. It is a full album of layouts, plus all the fixins, plus stamp sets. I'm going to show you what comes in it for $250. So awesome. The retreat will be the 16th through the 18th. It is virtual, therefore it is on Facebook like you're doing with me right now. When you purchase the kit, you will get an email telling you how to get, not right away, but when they send it out, it will go out so that you can attend. If you can't be on live, that is okay. You can always watch the replay because you may not be able to be on the exact times, because it's going to run from 2 to 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time those 3 days. I know I can't be there for all of those hours, so I'm going to be watching some of it after the fact, right? That's fine. So just jump on when you can, watch the recordings after if you need to, all those things, okay? So there's a ton that comes in it. Let me show you what all comes in this kit. First off, I want to show you the stamps. So you're going to get 4, it's technically 2 stamp sets, but it's 4 because look, it's 4 full stamp things. So it's like a two double stamp sets. So these are backwards. I know that because I'm trying to show you the full size. You can see here the forward image of it, but you get an alphabet with numbers and some different images for like things that you can stamp within or that are just shapes. Then you've also got over here different images, including a cloud, which you could stamp inside too, some different words, which include all of the seasons and highlights, happy, in review, life is sweet, love this, so many different things, so cute. Oh my gosh. So that is included, all of this. It's basically 4 stamp sets worth, which is amazing. So that is included in the kit. You're going to get the, sorry, I hit my machine with my chair. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So here's the stamp sets. You also get a huge thing of our photo mats, or not photo mats, our photo placement cards. You get a full package of our neutral matte dots. You get a full spiral of the white thread. All that comes in your kit. It's a whole box, you guys. You get 12 page protectors for your 12 months for your album. The album itself is not included. You're going to need to buy your own album, but you get all the stuff for it. You get this thing, which is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is the punch outs for the months. So you have all the months in here, and I believe, hold on, let me check this. I meant to check this yesterday. It's quite thick. It's really nice. They're almost like embellishments all them by themselves. You're going to get this, which is embossed paper that has, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you've got like sunbursts, and there's like a leaf type designs back here. There's several different things. You get some other punch out pieces that have all of the projects on there, so you can add these to all of the project bags. Look, there is a project bag with everything cut for each month. Project 1, Project 2, Project 3, etc. So all that, and then you also get this, which is something that you can stamp the images on, and it has all these different punch outs included in it as well. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is a ton of stuff. It is a ton, an absolute ton of stuff. So it's totally worth the price. I am super excited for this event, and I think you guys are going to love it. If you're interested in doing it, you can go to shamelessstamper.com, click on shop, and go and type in album retreat. Just type in album retreat. It should pop up and you can order there. If you're not a demonstrator, I highly recommend that you join my team first. Save the money on your signing up and all the stuff you want to purchase for that, and then save your 20% on this kit, this whole bundle as well. I think that you will thank me. So it's definitely worth it. It is awesome. You guys don't want to miss it. So did the paper share happen? Not yet. We had to push it back. There were some things that happened, and so that has been pushed back to the 20th, though you should have your box already, Lori. So everybody should have their box, for at least my people should have. I don't know about Katie's people, but all my people should have their boxes already. So if you don't, let me know, and I'll look it up. But yeah, it's going to be on the 20th, and yes, it is recorded, and yes, you can watch that as a replay if you can't be there live. Okay, you're gonna have to watch the replay, Carolyn. Carolyn, did you already purchase the scrapbook retreat, or are you saying you're going to, or you want to? Ship mail going up, away in July. I know. Shipping and mailing is going up everywhere all the time. I'm tired of it. And for those of you that don't know, Monday and Tuesday and part of Wednesday, I was without my very important nerve pain drugs because I have fibromyalgia, a really severe case, and because they got stuck in the mail, and I was absolutely miserable. So yeah, I'm tired of the mail. I keep having mail come back to me that I've sent out. Like, I send birthday cards to you guys, and they come back to me and they say, oh, that person doesn't live there. That address doesn't exist. That post office box doesn't exist. Yes, it does. I send stuff to it all the time. And I'm like, what the heck? You know? So I don't know. The mail system has lost their minds. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry to any postal workers. You probably are frustrated too. It's just a mess. It is just a mess. Good. I'm glad you got it. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys got it. Okay. So last but not least, if you would like to receive my creative inspiration calendar totally for free every month on or around the 25th of the month. Yes, it's late this month. I'm sorry. I'm hoping to get it out today. You just, Kathy, she says, I got mine, just opened it and to drool over it. Which one? The paper share box or the virtual album kit? That's my question. So anyway, if you guys would like to receive this calendar, I make these every month. They include my Facebook Lives, so you know what inspiration is coming your way via live, and then every other day has a creative prompt on it. So you guys can do something creative every day of your life if you'd like to. I want to be here for creative inspiration for you in many ways, and so I'm hoping that this and my videos provide that for you. It does include the details for my Facebook Lives and my contact information. So if you'd like to receive this, all you need to do is text me your email address and I'll be happy to add you to my list. All right. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, etc., please be sure to contact me. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. It is now time for the drawing. We're going to do that real quick, and then I will jump off and then jump back on to do the Party Piggy scrapbook layout for those of you that are waiting on that. Okay. Sorry, I've got stuff everywhere. I'm trying to... So if I can get a drum roll, please, I will put out some goodies here for you guys. Bye, Katie. Oh, good. I'm glad you got it. Need to get some extra stamps before the end of the month. You hate the mail also? Yeah. The paper share. Oh, good. I'm glad. You drooled over it, huh? No, that's what I was saying, Kimmy. It has not gone out. It's going out today. I am behind on so many things. I'm so sorry. The paper share got me behind on everything else, so I'm trying to get caught up. So I apologize for that. Thank you for the drum roll to everybody who did that. Intermission for Bridges of Madison County, the musical, really good show. So you're going to see that in person? You got one comment in. There you go. Okay. So we have the random sampler pack. This is designer series paper. It is random. That means your pack may not have this design. Okay. It's just random papers. There are 12 random designer series, all Stampin' Up! Designer series papers in these packs. Okay. Also, I have the D size Stampin' blocks, acrylic blocks. I have the Pick 4 ink spots. If you choose this option, you get to pick whatever colors you want out of my list of available options. Not these 4 colors per se, unless you want those. You can pick any 4 from my list. I will text you a list of all the colors. And then I also have the gold holly leaves that have the beautiful, they're like a fabric embellishment, and they've got like gold thread going through them. They're so pretty. Anyway, these gold holly leaves are awesome. We have that option. And of course, the little chiseler. This is not a Stampin' Up! Product. It is a product all its own. If you've been around for any length of time, then you've seen me use this. If not, stick around. I make mistakes all the time, and this saves my bacon. It is a tool that everyone needs to have in their craft space, their craft bag, etc. If you'd like to ever purchase these from me, you can. I buy them from this company, Little Chiseler, in bulk and pass that savings on to all of you guys. They're just $2. Or you can buy them on Amazon. I'm happy to send you a link to Amazon if you'd like. They're more expensive there, but more than happy to do that for you too. Anyway, I can send these to you for just $2, or you can get them free in my drawing. So hopefully you've commented. If you haven't, comment now. You have like 5 more seconds to do so. So you can be in the drawing. I'm going to do one drawing live and one next week. So I'm also going to pull this one from last week, or I guess this is not last week, it's the week before. And we're going to do that drawing as well today. Yeah, the little chiseler's the best. Like, I don't know what I would do without it. So I'm going to do these 2 drawings today. I'm going to grab the link from this video and pop it in the random Facebook comment picker. I've got hiccups again. which does all my drawings for me. And I'm going to get all the comments. And I am going to hit start, and it's going to choose a winner. Let's see. Names are flying by. Carolyn Lama Rose, congratulations. It liked your comment that said, "I'm so late, laugh out loud, replay for me." Well, I guess it pays to at least jump on late, right? So Carolyn is our winner for today for the live. Remember, comment on the replay so you can win next week if you'd like to. And I'm going to do a drawing from last week's video real quick too, which was our, let's see, that was the technique video. If you guys missed that, the watercolor mark on multicolored cardstock, don't miss it. Go back and watch it. You'll love it. Okay, so we're going to pop this in here and draw one from that video. Hold on, it's getting all the comments. It's thinking. All right. And I'm going to hit start. And our winner is Sandy Evans. Congratulations to Sandy Evans. If you are on today, Sandy, please pick a prize and put it in the comments. Same to you, Carolyn, congrats. Put your prize option in the comments. And if for any reason either of you aren't on, I will be sure to text you and let you know that you won. Okay, Carolyn would like the paper. Okay, Carolyn, I will get you some paper. All right, and I don't think I saw Sandy on here. So congratulations to our winners. Please join us next week for more creative inspiration. Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, sorry, not next week. I apologize. Tuesday I will be on for Tip Tuesday, and then next weekend I am out of town. I am going to be traveling for reunion, so I won't be here, but then the following weekend I'll be back Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the things, right? 2 p.m. Central, always, guys, join us live. You can always watch my replays here on Facebook or on YouTube as well, at Shameless Stamper. And if you want to watch the Party Piggy layout, come right back. I'm going to just clear this stuff, and then I'll be right back on in just a couple minutes. All right? Thanks so much. Love you guys. God bless.